Yes, and of course, we keep our eyes peeled on what is happening in Sudan. Kenyans also have been adversely affected there. We had one lady who is crying for her daughter who was shot in Sudan. She was recuperating in the hospital the last time we checked, and we have been promised by the state of evacuating most of the Kenyans. We have also in Uganda still this adversely affecting them. Shem Ochuodho, you are the Kenya Diaspora Alliance chair, so I don't know, we've not heard any statement coming from the Kenya Diaspora Alliance as well in regard to what is happening in Sudan.
Morning. I'm tempted to think that I can see why power, you grab it, you don't wait to be given. Governor has demonstrated that very well.
The power is taken.
This morning, yeah. But
he only gives us a definition of politician.
The case in Sudan is very dire, Debal. We've been in touch with some of our members who are in the Sudan. Some are in pretty bad shape. There was a particular group that reckoned that they had police who were guarding. But first the police left without explaining why they were leaving. But when they went back to base, they called and informed them that they had information the place would be bombed. So they needed to exit within 48 hours max. Obviously, they could hear gunshots and similar outside, and they really didn't know how they're going to exit. We haven't been in touch again with them. That was noon yesterday. We are hoping they are safe. We're praying for safety. As Kenya Diaspora Alliance, we would call for finding a mediated solution, and would want to encourage the other multi-sectoral leaders, the religious community, civil society, business, to bring back the two warring parties to the table. This is historical, Debal, but it's also hard to rule out the global geopolitics of it, and it's very unfortunate if Africa is going to be made the battleground. And I would hold it against our leaders who allow that to happen. I'm hoping that none of that is playing around in Kenya, but can we allow or facilitate the Sudanese to find their own solutions? So when you go this route of armed struggle, you can never tell who the winner. There's hardly ever a winner, like we've seen in the case of Somalia and other places, that taking up the gun should be the last option. So my appeal to the generals, and once it starts, sometimes it can only get worse. But the fact that there was a short ceasefire is commendable. I think that needs to be renewed. It's commendable that IGAD has requested heads of states, 3 heads of states, to help mediate the situation. I hope calm can return so that meetings can take place, whether in Khartoum or Juba or Nairobi or wherever they're going to take place. Obviously, Kenya gets affected in many ways economically. I'm meant to travel to Abuja next week through Ethiopia. Of course, you would fly over Sudan. If the airspace is kind of closed, it becomes problematic. But more importantly, we need peace in this region. Africa, people are suffering. And this has been aggravated by the war in Ukraine, by drought, and so on. And when it was just beginning to rain, we thought would recover. So my appeal is, let's find a mediated solution to Sudan.
You did. Right. Professor, Gituro Wanaina, briefly.